voice on the other end of the phone feels like a lifeline. Okay, honey. I need you to tell me how bad the thoughts are in your head and to be honest. Dad? I just can't move off my bed. I've been lying here for hours, wishing something bad would happen to me so that I could die and it wouldn't be my fault. I'm not having suicidal thoughts. I'm not feeling urges to hurt myself. I just don't feel the will to live anymore. I'm so sorry, Dad. I'm so sorry. You know that's not the answer. Promise me, you know that's not the answer. I promise, Dad. I know that's not the answer. I promise. I'm so sorry. I love you. Hold on until I get there. I'm booking my flight right now and I'll be there tomorrow morning. I love you so much. I love you, Dad. A close friend drives me to the airport the next morning. The words that keep repeating themselves in my head on the way there are, Daddy, save me. I know I shouldn't think them because what is he supposed to do? How is Daddy supposed to fight off my monsters if the monster is inside my bones? Inside me? How is Daddy supposed to slay my depression? We pull up to a crowded sidewalk and I'm a stranger's insecurities as I see his face. His face. I push the car door open and rush to his arms, breaking into silent, trembling tears. I don't know what is happening to me, but by God, right now, I'm in my Father's arms, and that is all that matters to me in this world. These arms and this chest, so strong around me. I know he won't let me float away. But what next? What next? I'm safe in this moment, but I can't stand here with him forever. How am I going to live the rest of my life? What next? My therapist would later explain to me that week that I was having a major depressive episode. Curled up on the couch in his office with my head in my father's lap, they both promise me I will get better. But when it feels like you're living your life, not just day by day, but hour by hour, even minute to minute, it's not so easy to just trust the universe. When you, the golden girl in your high school, opted to save the world, the one who is on the ultimate path to success, finds yourself here, drowning in utter hopelessness. The only thing you can do is trust others to trust for you that you will get better. On the way out of the door of CAPS, I sniffle out, why did this happen to me, Dad? This wasn't supposed to happen to me. This isn't supposed to happen to anyone, darling. What makes you so special? He says, looking at me with the most loving but honest eyes. And I know he is so, so very right. Depression, other than being miserably depressing, is humbling. But mostly it's just fucking depressing. It convinced me that everyone who seemed happy around me was just pretending, and that there was no point to anything because we were all doomed anyway. It convinced me that I was a person who was destined to be unhappy and unfulfilled for the rest of her life. With all this going on inside my head, I couldn't run away. The anxiety pounding itself further and further into my skull with each passing moment. I saw no way out but death. Death. Such a peaceful, simple solution. And then that thought convinced me I was the weakest person in the world. Poor little girl finds out life is actually going to be hard, so she just doesn't want to do it anymore. What a fucking coward! What a fucking coward! Selfish. I felt like I was going to have to force myself to live every day of my life for the next 80 years, just to keep my family and loved ones from having to feel the pain that I would cause them if I were dead. thankfulness is a discipline. But I also believe that there are times when that choice, the ability to follow that discipline, is struck from your hands, and an anxious fear becomes a paralyzing, all-consuming everything. But here's something else I've noticed. Life plays a funny trick on you. It can take the scariest, hardest, most terrifying moments of your life, and somehow, with time, make you believe they are beautiful. The 3 days that I spent with my father at the peak of my depression, when we just got in the car and drove from Duke to Wilmington Beach because I wanted to feel like I was moving in a certain direction away from something towards who knows what. In those 3 days, he willed me through the darkest hours I have ever known. He said everything I needed him to say and motivated me some moments and listened to others. And he never stopped believing I was magic. He never stopped believing that my life could be magic. But every moment of it was magic. Even this. That's the part where I most struggle. It's also the part I feel most inclined to push back against. Because it's bullshit, right? That suffering should ever be allowed to be beautiful. Right now, I'm trying to decide for myself what's real and what's not. Right now, I feel like I'm leaving out a pretty ending to a story that isn't pretty, just because I've never been able to identify as anything but an optimist. And because people are always looking to find an optimistic twist to even the greatest tragedies. They need those fairy tales. At the same time, I cannot deny the magic in the moments that I spent with my head in my father's lap in the psychologist's office. I cannot deny the magic in the marks in the sand. From 20 steps, a glimmer of hope moved me to dance on the beach. I cannot deny the moments when I looked straight into my father's eyes, and I knew, I'm here. I exist.